I went live and yet, oops, let me fix this a little bit. I was having some technical difficulty before I went on. My reminder post on Facebook wasn't going through. Oops. See, you just heard that twice. All right, now I think I've got it off. All right. I think we're ready. Woo! What a day. Happy Friday indeed. I see. Let's see who's watching. Oh, Jeffrey's here. Hi, Jeffrey. Happy Friday. And to Sheila and Stacy as well. And also to those others of you who are the anonymous watchers. So glad to have you here. Tonight we're going to be doing a sympathy card because that's what you asked to do. Now I do have a couple of other things. We're going to be using this Hello Irresistible Designer Series paper, which is just really beautiful. Let me take out some of the pieces so that you can see. It's got this pretty peacock color. This is the one that I used on my sample that I put up to sort of let people know what I'd be doing tonight, but we're not doing that card exactly. We're going to do something like it, but not that one exactly. But it's got a couple different sides. We're actually going to use this side. So I'm going to separate that one out. But it's called Hello Irresistible because we've got this sort of resist technique, which I think I'll show you that at some point, but not right now either. Hi, Reba. Hi, Anne. Nice to have you all on with me tonight. And let's see what else we got going on here. We've got this beautiful one as well. And these have matching dies and stamp sets. They're an online exclusive. I only have the paper, but I'm so close to pulling the trigger and getting the stamp set and dies as well. But just, you can see all sorts of nice little patterns and such. So just a nice, some different colors. So the coordinating colors here are Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink. Those were on the, the ones that were in this color family. And then the ones here go with Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, and Soft Seafoam. This one doesn't have soft seafoam, but this card base that I started making, this one does have the soft seafoam in it. It's really very lovely paper. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to make a sympathy card, but Anne had expressed her frustration at being able to make a Father's Day card. She wasn't into the grill or fishing or those kind of things that she'd been seeing, so she was wondering what she was going to do. And so when that happens to me, I just go back to the basics and just keep it simple. Keep it, let the paper be the paper and maybe some dies and a sentiment. I don't go with a theme necessarily. So here is the card that I had posted. This is a thank you card, obviously. Oh, like what I did to my thumb today, I hit it at work, and all of a sudden I looked down and I was bleeding. I'm like, oh, this is how I know I'm getting old, because when you get older, your skin gets thinner. And so every little bang, hurts you. So anyway, I didn't bleed on anything important. That's good. So here is the card, and this uses the Timeless Textures dies. And I'm going to show you a couple of different things here tonight that I haven't done in a while, just to remind you of things that you can do. So I'm going to get out a base of Pretty Peacock, and hold on, I hear a little echo. There we go. Now the sound is truly off. So the reason why I'm going with a darker base is because I think it just adds a little bit of weight and reverence. I think a white base really perks things up. The whole thing will be covered on the outside, but on the inside, see, here's the inside of this card. The white, if this were all white, it would be much brighter. And so I just thought that a base of Pretty Peacock would be the best way to proceed. So we're going to get out also Pretty Peacock ink. This is the Timeless Arrangements stamp set that goes with the Timeless Arrangement dies that I'll show you in just a moment. This is primarily kind of a thank you set or an appreciation kind of love set. You're my everything. Your kindness means everything to me. You make me smile. You are so kind. For always being there. So thanks or thank you for always being there. I really appreciate you. Thank you. You are the best for being my friend. To you, love, and from the bottom of my heart, very much enough. So lots of just nice little word sets that you can use on the outside and inside, as well as it has a few different little flowers or leaves and stems that you can just add to a card. Keep it pretty simple. So lots of sentiments. Really makes this a really nice set. But you can use other sentiments. I'm going to bring in, nope, not this one. I'm going to bring in another stamp set. And I don't know where the stamp set is, but I'm using, oh, maybe it is this one. Yeah, it is, with Deepest Sympathy. So this is the Something Fancy stamp set, which I also love because I think this is one of the most versatile sets that we have as well, because the greetings are very varied and the dies that go along with it have some just great shapes to add to a card. But I'm just using that stamp for the sympathy because you asked for sympathy. I need sympathy too, but I don't think that's the sympathy you're talking about. So I'm going to bring in this label die because that's what's going to fit right here with Deepest Sympathy. And we're going to use a couple of these other dies. Let's use this one. And if you see in this paper, there's these little lines with the little circles. There's a die in the Hello Irresistible Dies that kind of goes with that. But I think this kind of mimics it as well. I see that I've got a couple of pieces of paper stuck in there, so because it's got a stem with those little circular pieces on it as well. Let me see if I can bring this in. See, this is the one that I'm talking about. So I think that mimics the paper in some way. And we're going to use this because we will stamp a little bit as well. But if I didn't want to stamp, I could cut out some little leaves right with that one. I think that's all I need right now. So as I mentioned, I'm going to bring in my card base and I need to cover the front of it. I'm going to get out my paper trimmer here. See this elastic? If Crash were around, he'd be going after this right now. Crash loves elastics. They're so bad for him. I have to be very, very careful. So I'm going to cut this to the exact same size as the card front, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I want to cover that whole front. Sometimes I leave just a border, and sometimes I cover the whole front. This is a whole front kind of card. So you can see that it's going to cover everything. If I wanted to leave a border, that looks nice too, but I'm choosing not to tonight. And I think this color is masculine enough, so you could easily turn this into a Father's Day card if you had a happy Father's Day sentiment. I do think that you can get away with not having a happy Father's Day sentiment if you have something like thank you. And on the inside, I didn't stamp a sentiment, but thank you for being in my life, or thank you for all you do for me. I forgot what some of those other sentiments were, but they certainly evoke thank you for being my dad. All right, so there we have our card front. And now we need to get some stuff to decorate it with. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm going to cut this out, and I need a piece of basic white. See, I got some scraps out ahead of time. So I'm gonna do that, and let's see, I think this one's gonna be from out of white as well. And I'm gonna stamp some leaves, and I've already got my stamp mounted. So I'm using this one right here from the stamp set. I've already got it mounted. These are photopolymer stamps, which means you can see through them. It's fantastic. Let me go ahead and stamp in my pretty peacock. Now the leaves are very white on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a little bit of my clear block, and I'm going to tap it in my ink. And then I'm going to get some blender pens. You could use water brush too, but I like the my blender pen just because it's going to allow me a little bit more control. Watercolor is typically a little bit more out of control kind of look. So I'm going to pick some of that up and color in at the base here, and then kind of bring it up a little bit, and it will start to fade as the ink kind of comes off, and you get a little bit of a variegated tone here. I don't think variegated is the right word, but it's close enough. I'm going to get some of it off there. Just paint up in here. I can paint my leaves. Pick a little bit more up. What's everybody doing tonight? Oh, I know, watching me. What else you doing tonight? It's not all that nice out. Not a good night for a stroll on the beach, that's for sure. All right, I've already got one of these done, by the way. Hopefully I can find it in the mess that is what happened before, right before I came on. I'm gonna put this on here and get out my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to put a little bit of sticky tape on here. This is washi tape. Now this die has a little hole in this right down here in the stem, and that's so you can see if the stem is lined up. I can see that there's a little bit of stem peeking out there, so that's kind of lined up, but the top isn't. So I'm going to line that up, and I can still see my stem peeking through this little hole. You might not be able to, but trust me, it's there. And now I'm going to run this through, and I want to run this one through in my pretty peacock. So I'm going to do it all at once with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So these dies can go with either the big machine like I have here, or they can go with the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. The advantage to the big one is that I can get everything to go through all at once. Oh, you know what? I should stamp this sentiment. I gotta stamp the sentiment first because I wanted to use sympathy, and the only sympathy I had was not photopolymer, so I'm not going to be able to line that up very nicely unless I stamp it first and put the die around it. So let's bring this back in. Here we go. I would never have been able to get that straight, I don't think. I did a pretty good job when I practiced it, but on camera is a different story. All right, so I need a little bit more washi tape here to get this stuck down. Let's go ahead and see if we can center that as best as I can. All right, that looks pretty good. Put this back on here. Now we'll bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with our base plate and our number 2 plate and our number 3 plate and our dies. And remember, this is a rectangular one right here. I don't want it to go through with a hard edge, so I'm going to angle it just a little bit. easier on my machine. Same thing for this one. I don't want it to go through just like this, parallel with my handle, which is also parallel with the roller. I want to make sure it's a little bit crooked so that it can, it's just easier on the machine if a little bit goes through at a time. So now we'll run it through. Stacy, are you asking me if I'm prepping for stamp camp tomorrow? No, I've actually got it all done. All I have to do is pack up my ink pads. Most of the supplies for the projects are already at church, which is where I'm holding it. So no, I've got a, I'm doing pretty well. I'm ahead of the game. It's not always the case, but it is this time. Just wanted to show you. So on this, there's some stitching around the side, the edges, and these little X's too in the centers of each side. All right, we've got this one, and it comes out very easily. And then we've got this one. I'm just going to be very careful when I remove that. There we go. So let's set my Stampin' Cut and Emboss stuff aside. All right. Now bring in my card here, and I want to assemble some things together. So I need to get my little pieces out, and it looks like this little piece stayed in. There we go. We removed him. Set my dies off to the side so I don't lose them. All right. And let me see if I can find my other little one that I had done. Ignore that little crash sound you heard. That was just something slipping off. Okay, I'm gonna need this. You'll see why in a second. All right. Whoop. Hard thing about having things easily accessible on camera is that they are easily accessible in a lot of different places. So you can see a little bit of my messy desk. Yikes. All right, what I'm going to do now is layer the pretty peacock piece on first. Since it contrasts the best, I want to have that kind of a little bit more obvious. So when I'm layering this, what's nice about this Timeless Arrangements thing is you have this little strip that's not meant for anything other than gluing. This is how I can attach my sentiment. Because otherwise, these little individual pieces gluing down is such a pain. Plus, if I glue it down, then if I glue it down, then there's no dimension, there's no, things kind of flapping in the wind. Not that it's going to flap in the wind, but it's not able to curl up and just have that added dimension. Stacy, what are you prepping for? You don't have anything to do tomorrow. Let's just show up for you, girl. All right, let me see. Now I'm going to add this white layer. Again, it's got a nice little piece that I can add my glue to, and you don't need a lot of glue. And I've got this little piece right here. I'm going to add him. Let's see, let's add him right there. And maybe this one right here. Yeah. I'll put a little bit of glue right here. I'm having lots of fun playing with these little bits and pieces. So I just think it just adds so much dimension. And honestly, people that make cards will think you probably did a lot more for this card than you actually did do. And why am I saying that? Because they're going to see these little sprigs right here and think, wow, she die cut this and 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 this, when really it was only 3 die cuts, well, maybe 4. Because these 3 peacock ones are one piece, and these 3 white ones are one piece. So much better. All right, so it's gonna do something that looks like this. Now I thought I'd bring in a little bit of extra something to go underneath it. And I'm going to show you a couple different things here. So on my card right here, you can see that I have this beautiful pretty peacock ribbon, except for we don't carry pretty peacock ribbon like this. We carry this basic white ribbon. And all I did was take my Stampin' Blend and color it. So my Stampin' Blend markers, I took the dark and I gently colored it. That's all I did. And then I have pretty peacock. Now you will notice that after you color it, the ribbon is a lot more stiff. Doesn't bother me, it's just staying straight. And I would not make a bow out of something like this anyway. It's going to be too bulky on your card. Oh, I see, Stacy. Yeah, getting your stuff together. That's a good idea. It is, the morning is coming early after all. All right, so, but here's another option. So I've cut this piece already, and what I did was I cut off one edge. And you can see I didn't do it very nicely. There's a little bit of rough edge to it. But look at what happens when you cut off this. See, when I pull off this edge, nothing happens because it's got a finished edge. But what I can do is I can take some of this and pull this out. And look, I got all these fine little strands. Let me see. Got all these fine little strands here. And I could use this as something that's a little bit softer underneath here. And I don't know how I want to use it. I'm just playing. I didn't do it on the first one. I don't like that. So let's see if I can. Let's straighten it out. We can do something with it afterwards. So I'll probably do this and just trim some of the ends. I think I want a little bit more though. And every time I lay this down, I take some other ones up. But isn't this cool? Ooh. But you could also, if you neatened up the edge here, you could also just use the frayed edge. That's pretty cool too. Here's what I mean. You could use this frayed edge. See, it looks just a little bit different. I would probably neaten it up a little bit, but it's got a different look. So one ribbon, I've got this look, and this look. That is pretty versatile ribbon, I think. I kind of like this too, but a little too much white on there. So I'm going to just make this. This is very nice and soft. I'm going to add in just a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus. And we'll just make sure that's all settled down and stuck there. I'm going to bring in my stamp again and bring back my ink pad. And stamp that down here. And I could color it in, or I could keep it just like that. I've got some lines and stuff showing through there, so I probably will just go ahead and bring my little block back in here and color again. Goes pretty quickly. There we go. And to clean this, all you need to do is take it on a piece of scrap paper and rub it until it goes clear. The end may be stained a little bit, but as long as it's flowing clear, it's clean. All right, so now we're going to put this up here somehow. And I think we just need some dimensionals. Let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back. So Stacy's talking about prepping for the Fresh as a Daisy stamp camp that is tomorrow. It's tomorrow morning. And this is one of the earliest I've ever really started running out of paper. And what I mean by that is I purchased the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper, and I have been playing so much with it that I had to order another whole package for myself because I just loved it so much. And that doesn't happen a lot. Usually I tend to hoard my DSP. And so it takes a while, if ever, you know, if I even do run out, it takes a while for me to run out. All right, let's go ahead and trim some of these off, make them a little bit neater. All right. And so there I just have that. I think that is kind of a cool look. What do you think? Weigh in the comments. But I have to say, I did order the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper. My new packet came in today, and I'm excited about that. But I've also got some, let me show you. Oh, wait, focus, Sharon, focus. Let's finish this card, shall we? All right, so we just need a piece of basic white to go on the inside. And I have it right here. Let's go ahead and get my stamp back out and my ink. I'm turning Pretty Peacock. So for those of you who remember when Pretty Peacock was around before, it is one of my favorite colors. I just love this color. And I think I'm going to edge this whole thing. And on both sides. It's going to get a little different than I did before on my sample. And it's a sympathy card, so I'll just write a nice note in there when I have to. Well, thank you, Reba. I'm glad you like it. Now, I don't know where my glue is, so we're just going to go ahead and use my Seal Plus. Just need a little bit of that stuff. It's pretty sticky. And that looks pretty good. And there is my card. I love this wispiness. I think that it just creates a very soft effect, which is sort of like a sympathetic effect, I think. But again, if you wanted to make this, turn this into something else, maybe if it were a masculine card, I might use some different colors. For instance, I don't have a whole piece and I don't have a sample of it, but this copper clay would look great for a man's card. Another sympathy color or Father's Day or masculine card would be the Pebbled Path. I don't think I have Pebbled Path with me. It's across the room, except for the fact that in the Fresh as a Daisy, there's Pebbled Path on one side. This actually has all the in colors in it, so you could use this for the Designer Series paper. I mean, I like the different look in the background here, so that's what would make this very nice. In fact, Rachel Tessman did a card very similar to this using a different technique. But so that's, as much as I love this paper, I got some new paper today, and this is my absolute favorite pattern. I love the colors. There's there's the blues of the boho blue, and then there's Bubble Bath and Berry Burst and Pretty Peacock and Soft Seafoam. I think this is just the most beautiful piece of paper. Now let me show you the other papers in this particular set. This is masterfully made, by the way. And it's kind of different. Like, this is just a whole bunch of torn pattern papers that make up one. And then there's this one that you can slice across this way, and it is gets you some pretty easy cards as well. Here's another one like that first one, just in different tones. So this reminds me of a, this is more springy to me, and this is more late summer to me. But it's pretty much the same pattern. Just pretty colors on the back. And then another bunch of rainbowy torn paper colors. This one's kind of cool as well. Again, would make some pretty great and easy backgrounds. I already saw that one. And then this one as well. So what's on the back of this one? Oh, some, I think this must be Lemon Lime Twist. So some really pretty colors in that Masterfully Made. My upcoming class on Tuesday, my Tune In Tuesday class that is 7 o'clock on my YouTube channel. That is going to feature designer series paper. I've already got one card made. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of it, in fact. So this is one of the cards that we're going to make. It's a fun fold with a pop-up window kind of thing. It mails flat, and then it pops up, and you can, there's a little panel to write on the back. And so that is one of the cards that I'll be making on Tuesday. And I'm going to use 4 different designer series papers for 4 different cards. And just to let you know, in case you hadn't heard, we have a designer series paper sale going on for the month of June. You save 15% off select papers. And those select papers are the Bright and Beautiful, which I used last week. Countryside Inn, which is beautiful and has all those blue tones in it. Delightfully Eclectic, which honestly, when I was typing this up, I'm like, ooh, it's normally $30. That's a pretty big, big paper bundle. I gotta look that one up, see what it's like. Delightfully Eclectic. So you get 48 sheets of 12 by 12. That's why it's so expensive, or the price point is definitely higher. And it's just, eclectic is right. It's just got a lot of different things in it. It's got some florals, it's got some swans, got some pretzels, got some alphabet stuff. It's got a lot of different things. Truly eclectic. So you can see some of the patterns here. All right, let's see. There's Fresh as a Daisy is on sale. Glorious Gingham, which is a 6 by 6. Sheila, by the way, yours came in today. I'll get it to you soon. And let's see. Hello Irresistible, which is this paper right here. And Inked Botanicals, which is kind of I can show it to you real quickly. The Inked Botanicals is a very kind of pale, muted tones, kind of summery floral themes here. And then there's Les Shops, which is right here, and it's got, storefronts, and it's different. That's all I'm going to say. It's different. It's not my jam, but I know it's some people's jam because I've seen people making stuff out of it. That Masterfully Made, which is what I just showed you. Stargazing, which is very different, and this is very bold. Lots of night skies, some planet stuff, so you could certainly make some fun kids cards. There is a stamp set that goes with this, but most of the paper pieces you could use without a stamp set, and it would be just as beautiful. Just some nice, bright, vibrant colors and perfect night skies. And then Zoo Crew. And Zoo Crew is a paper that goes with the Zany Zoo. So the Zoo Crew paper has a bunch of these little animals doing different things. And I'm going to be doing a three-week series on Tune In Tuesdays. And they're going to be back-to-back. So it's going to be 3 Tuesdays in a row instead of just the second and fourth Tuesdays. And that's going to begin 2 weeks from this coming Tuesday. And I'm gonna feature what these animals can do, and we'll have some fun folds and stuff like that. But the Zoo Crew paper is really fun too, and those animals are just adorable. So that is that. There is a starter kit special going on, and Stacy, who I've been chatting back and forth with tonight as we've been on, she just joined my team. She couldn't resist the starter kit deal. So normally you get $125 worth of products of your choice from the catalog for only $99 with free shipping. But during this month only, you can get $155. So that's an extra $30. Plus it's free shipping, remember. So this is really the best deal in the catalog. And the last thing I want to remind you about, if you are not currently receiving my emails, you want to sign up, and I will have the link. I didn't have a chance to put it in the description of this video yet, but I will. You're going to want to sign up to receive my emails, because that's the only way to get the link to register for this mystery stamping event that's going to be on June 21st. So June 21st is the longest day of the year. It's the start of summer. And so we're going to do a little mystery stamping, and I will tell you what you need to gather in advance. And I not only will everybody be, walking away with a card, but one of you is going to walk away with a box full of my retired goodies. There's dies, there's stamps, there's paper, there's embellishments, there's embossing folders, and it's somewhere between $250 and say $350 worth in value from when it was new. So things are in good shape. Obviously some of the papers and the embellishments might have some missing pieces, but lots of good stuff. And the winner will walk away with a free box of lots of goodies. So, but you have to be on my email list in order to get that registration link. Team members, you'll get it. You can play as well. Stacy, did you sign up? I think you did. I think both you and Joyce did. Only 3 people had signed up last I checked. I think it was you, Stacy, and possibly Joyce. I'll check. And Rachel. So anyway, I'm going to turn this around so I can talk to you. Let's see. Hey, so thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to see some of you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for our Fresh as a Daisy stamp camp. And I've got some fun projects, and I think I've got a cute little gift that you're going to enjoy. So thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And you know what? The weather's not so great tonight. Go stamp something. Have some fun. Bye-bye.